I don't want to raise no baby by myself. Like, nobody about to make me their baby mama. You ain't about to baby mama me. I'm just kidding.
But your body demanding, if you know what I'm saying. Should be a crime the way you dance and swear I'm on to you. I swear you got my...
Hello guys, Danat here. I know you guys probably miss me. I have not done a YouTube video in literally a month. So what have I been doing? I have just been working and procrastinating, really, because I was supposed to do this video a long time ago, but I finally decided, let me just do this video tonight, okay? So as you can tell from the title, it is a story time. This is my first ever story time, okay? And as you could also tell from the title, your girl was a mistress, okay? And I feel like a mistress sounds a little classier than side chick, even though it's no better. It's actually worse, because with a mistress, the man is married, and you should not be messing with no married man. You should be messing with that lady's husband, okay? But anyways, I know the man was married in my defense. Okay, so let me give you guys some background on how everything came about, how everything started. So initially, how does anybody meet anyone nowadays? Instagram, of course. So he was DMing me on Instagram, right? But you know, when you don't follow somebody, their messages stay in the the message request. So I saw it and I just ignored it. But I remember, like, one of the messages were like, are you from Portland? I like the way you carry yourself. And it was like weird to me, because I'm like, I live in Houston. I've been in Houston since like 2013. Like, how does he know I'm from Oregon? Like, how did he find me? So that's what's going on in my head, but I'm just ignoring it. So I go to Oregon for my sister's baby shower. And me and my other sister, not my pregnant sister, my other sister, go to the club. So we're at the club, and this guy comes up to me and he was like, yeah, I be messaging you on Instagram, you don't see my messages. And I was just like, I didn't know who he was, because his page was private. And then you guys know on Instagram, like, your profile picture is like little itty bitty, so you can't tell who anybody is from the profile picture. So I was like, oh, okay. So anyways, we exchanged information. I don't know about you guys, but I have no problem exchanging information with somebody, because I'm just like, I'm gonna ignore you anyways. So anyways, we exchanged information. I go back to Houston. We are not talking on a consistent basis right now, right? But we would talk every so often. And so one of the times, so there was little things he did to like intrigue me, and I'm like, okay. So one of the things he did, it's my birthday, and me and him, again, we do not talk like that. We don't talk like anything. We don't talk like that. And he saw it was my birthday, and he's like, oh, it's your birthday. Like, I'm gonna send you, like, what's your cash app? I'm gonna send you some money for your birthday. Like, what are you gonna get? I'm like, probably some shoes. So he sends me money for like on Cash App for my birthday. I'm like, we don't even talk like that, and you doing this? Like, what else will you do? Okay, so that happened. We're still not talking, but you know, I'm like, thank you, you know, but we're still not talking like that. Then my sister, I go on a trip with my sister for her birthday. And you know, when you order from these little websites, like Pretty Little Thing, Polly, I don't remember where I ordered from. However, my clothes did not come in time. So I'm telling him I'm going out of town. I was like, oh my gosh, and my clothes didn't come in time or whatever. And he's like, oh, Cash at me some more money, and was like, when you go to New York, you know, you could just pick something up. I'm intrigued, all right? So, you know, he had my attention at this point, you know? So, because you ladies, y'all know y'all could be talking to guys for months, for years, and he not doing nothing for you. I'm barely talking to this man, and he's doing more for me than like the people I'm actually like talking to. Like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna switch sides real quick. So I started talking to him, and so yeah, I would go to Atlanta to see him, right? And then we spent my birthday together. We went to Miami for my birthday, right? It was a fun time. It literally was when Kobe Bryant died. Like, while we're on the trip, Kobe Bryant, like, we heard the news that he passed. So we go to Miami for my birthday, and he's all like, yeah, so my birthday's in January. Valentine's Day's the next month. And he's like, yeah, for Valentine's Day, let's go back to Miami. So I'm like, okay, cool. A few days before Valentine's Day, I have not heard from this man. And we haven't talked about the plane ticket. We haven't talked about anything. So I'm like, what's going on? And I'm calling him. I'm not getting a response. I'm texting him, not getting a response. So then I'm just like, you know what? I'm done talking to him. That's literally how I am. You could just do one little thing and I'd be like, I'm done talking to you. But I'm really big on when somebody says they're gonna do something, like they need to do it. So I was mad at the fact that we had plans for Valentine's Day and I have not heard from you. So I was like, yeah, I'm done talking to him. So that happened. So a few days after Valentine's Day, I believe it was a few days after, he hits me up on WhatsApp and was like, what's your number? I lost my phone. With this long story, right? I see the message, I ignore it. He's sending me messages on Instagram. I ignore it. And then he starts messaging people who he thinks are my friends on Instagram, right? And they're sending me screenshots like, oh my gosh, do you know this guy? He's asking for your number. And I'm like, don't respond. I'm pretty sure he sent one to my sister, and I'm just like, don't respond to telling everybody not to respond, right? But however, somebody responded because he got my number. Okay, but even before that, so he also called my job too. And the lady at the front desk, she was like, hey, this man named blah, blah, blah called and he said that you left your keys or your phone. It was my keys or my phone, one of those two things, in Atlanta. And so when she mentioned Atlanta, I already knew who it was. And then he's been looking for me through my friends, so I definitely already knew who it was. I'm just like, this man really pays attention to detail because he remembered where I worked at, right? Some guys don't remember you work at. But it's like, you could have sent me some flowers and stuff. You could have sent me some flowers and then put a little note in there, like, call me. But you won't call the front desk? Okay. So anyway, so he called the front desk and I was still like, girl, I don't know who that was. And she was like, that is so scary. Like, duh. Like, so you sure you don't know who this is? I'm like, girl, I don't know who that is. So she was like, well, be careful out here. Anyways, somehow one of the people he's hitting up on Instagram gives him my number. And so he calls me and I answer because he had a new number and I didn't know who it was. And he's like, you didn't even call to check up on me, like all this stuff. And he like tells me his long story again of what happened. I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't into it. At this time, I'm thinking, yeah, like I'm not going to talk to him again. Whatever. And then he even goes as far as to tell me, like, I was planning on proposing to you on Valentine's Day in Miami. Like, my sister and my friends were all there. And then, you know, you go ghost on me and they're just telling me I should leave you alone. Okay, so that's that. Anyways, a few months pass, something happens. We start talking again. No, we start talking again after quarantine. Yeah. So with quarantine, we start talking again after quarantine. And what happened? Okay, so I'm going to go visit him in Atlanta and all this type of stuff. And he likes to bring up like, oh, I was supposed to propose to you. However, I ain't seen no ring. Like, what was you about to propose to me with? Like, you haven't even mentioned a ring. But okay, my camera died, but we back. So anyways, he's saying how, you know, he was planning on proposing to me, right? But then when we start talking again, I have never seen a ring. And I feel like if somebody was like very serious about proposing, you know, they would have a ring. But then he's acting like, oh no, it was a red flag for me once you went missing on me. So like, you know, basically it was a red flag for him, right? And then like months would go by and then we would like randomly be talking about marriage, right? Because he's like talking about, oh, I want to have a baby, like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I don't want to have a baby out of wedlock. And he was like, well, I'm not ready to be married. I thought you was planning on proposing to me back in February. Okay. But you know, I didn't bring it up because I don't want to seem too thirsty. So I was just like, oh, okay. Yeah. So one time on Thanksgiving, we get super, super drunk. And it comes up about marriage. And I'm like, oh, and he's basically talking about how he wants to have a baby again, but he not ready to be married. And he was like, you know, I've been married before. And I was like, have you? So he's telling me about his wife, right? But he's like, we're divorced. And he was like, he met her when he was in his early 20s and they're divorced now. And I was like, oh, okay. Right? But I was like super drunk. I did not even remember the story. I just remember that he said he was married at one point. And then I was talking to my sister and I'm like, he says he was like, I was like, you know, he's been married in the past. And she was like, you need to ask him, is he still married? And so I'm like, and she was like, are you even sure he's divorced? And I'm like, I don't remember. Because again, I was super drunk on that Thanksgiving. So I just remember talking about marriage. And I remember he said he was married at one point. So I was like, let me figure out how I'm going to work this in to ask him if he's married again. But another thing for me is how he was so quick to tell me that his brother was married. Like, oh my gosh, my brother is, because they're not from the United States of America, right? So did I have to say all that? Shouldn't I just said the US? Anyways, they're not from the US. So he was like, my brother is married. He has a wife down here, you know, for citizenship. And I was just like, oh, okay. Crazy to me that he brought up his brother. He literally brought up his brother's wife all the time. And the fact that his brother was married. His brother even wears a ring too. So whatever. But mind you, I'm with him like literally almost every weekend. I spend like every major holiday with him. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, like literally every holiday. His birthday, my birthday. Yeah, met the man's mom. So I one day, because my sister asked me again, like, did you ask him if he's married? And so me and him, so one day, again, we're drinking. And I was like, remember you told me you were married at one point? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, are you still married? And he was like, no. Okay. So I was like, oh, okay. And he's like telling me the story, like, yeah, after we like divorced, she even sent me like the papers for citizenship and I just threw them in a box and no, I'm not married anymore. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it was just strange to me that he's talking about having a baby and he don't want to get married or whatever. Because one thing I plan on, I don't want to have kids out of wedlock, okay? If I do, I do. But I don't want to plan to have kids outside of wedlock. I want my kids to grow up in a two-parent household because I did not grow up in a two-parent household. And I don't want to raise no baby by myself. Like, nobody about to make me that baby mama. You ain't about to baby mama me. I'm just kidding. So, yeah, so that was just crazy to me. So, let's go fast forward to the next Valentine's Day, right? He was like, I don't celebrate Valentine's Day. I don't know if this is a real Jamaican thing. All right, it's out. He from Jamaica. So I don't know if this is a real Jamaican thing that they don't celebrate Valentine's Day. So whatever. But it made me feel some way because he's like, I don't celebrate Valentine's Day, blah, blah, blah. Then I go to it's Valentine's Day. I get on Instagram, this man in the club in Atlanta on Valentine's Day. So of course I get mad at him about that. And so after I get mad at him, every time I get mad at him, I stop answering his phone calls. So I stopped answering his phone calls, and that's when he's like, okay, I want you to meet my mom. So that's when he took me to Jamaica to meet his mom. All right, cool. So then fast forward months later, 2 months later, we on the phone, and I was like, wait, I just asked him, I was just like, are you married? Because he brought up his brother being married again. Like, oh, my brother is visiting his wife. The lady he's marrying for citizenship. So I was like, are you married? And he was just like, yeah. Y'all, that was my face. What? I was like, wait, what? And he was like, I told you that. No, you never told me that, because I asked you multiple times if you was married, because I was trying to see if you was married to your first wife. And he was like, no, I'm not married to her. I'm married to somebody else. Y'all, this is the story this man gave me. He's married to his uncle's girlfriend. I don't think anybody would let you marry that girlfriend, especially your family member. And he was like, I paid her. But this is the thing, his uncle has money too. So I don't think your uncle would let you marry his girlfriend. So anyways, he's like, yeah, but it's not even like that. Like, I don't have any contact with her. She lives in Atlanta. That's where he was for Valentine's Day, y'all. But anyways, he's like, I don't have any contact with her. I paid her. I'm not saying his name, so I can't really incriminate him anyways. But he was like, I paid her, you know, and we don't have any contact. You know, she's a cool person and blah, blah, blah. I was just like, well, why would you not tell me you were married? And he said, I did tell you I was married. We talk about immigration all the time. Us talking about immigration and you saying I'm married is two different things. We could talk about immigration all day, but that don't mean you told me you were married. And he was like, how else did you think I got here? I don't know. I'm from the United States. I don't know how people get here. So that was that. I didn't get no freaking apology. It was just like, I already told you. I told you I was married, when it was a lie, because he never told me he was married, because I would not talk to no married man, okay? And even, sorry, the camera shut off again. But even though he's acting like the whole marriage is a transaction, it's the principle that you're married. And it's also the principle that you didn't tell me you were married. And I feel like when you meet anybody, being a married man, because you marry either way you put it, you should let people know off the bat you married, so they can decide if they want to be a mistress or not. And he's all like, but do you think that's really going to stop females like that, you know, a female from talking to me if I tell them I'm married? I don't know. Let's just give them the choice. Let's just let them have that choice. Let them make that decision if they want to talk to you or not. We don't need you going around lying to people, acting like you a single man, acting like you about to propose to them when you not. But anyways, and it's just like, I was taught, because my grandmother, she's married to my grandfather, and he has a lot of outside children. So she was very strong on being like, don't talk to no married man, because she knows how it feels being a married woman and these little scallywags talking to your husband. By him not telling me he's married, got my grandma looking down on me from heaven like, girl, is you crazy? You talking to that lady's husband? Oh wait, hold on, let me see who this is. So anyways, so that's the story of me finding out I'm a mistress, okay? And when I talked to my sisters about it, they're like, well, my one sister about it, she was the only one who gave me her opinion. She's like, well, it's not like, you know, he's like really in a relationship, because he's doing this for his citizenship. Like, he's doing this, you know, to be in a better situation here in the US than what he came from. So he's like doing it to like create a better life for himself. All right, that's one thing. But the other thing is, clearly he has a pattern of lying, okay? And so I think it's even a lie that this lady who he's married to is his uncle's girlfriend. Because again, why would your uncle let you marry his girlfriend for some money when your uncle has money too? Like, his uncle literally owns clubs and stuff in Atlanta. But yeah, so, you know, I had to get myself out of that situation. And then when I even like confronted him about like, you know, being married, like, this is crazy, I don't want to talk to a married man. And he was like, well, I mean, that's your choice. And I'm gonna tell you, like I told this other girl, I'm not about to ruin my chances of being a US citizen for anybody. Baby, I'm not asking you to ruin your chance for anybody. I'm asking you to be upfront with people when you get in these relationships with them, and let them know that you are a married man, instead of having them out here committing adultery with you. Okay, so that's my story, y'all, and I'm sticking to it. If I saw that man, I wouldn't even know what that man looked like. Sorry to that man. But he was a very good man, you know. He was a very good boyfriend, I would say. He's very attentive, like very attentive. I told y'all, like, we spent a lot of time together, so I don't know how he could have a wife or whatever. And then he told me he ain't got no kids. He probably got kids. Like, he lied about having a wife, so he probably got some kids somewhere, but he's saying he ain't got no kids. But so yeah, that's my story, y'all. So your girl was a little mistress, but again, I did not know I was a mistress. But we're gonna see how this plays out, because this is like kind of, you know, I recently found out about him being married, but we don't talk anymore right now. But yeah, guys, so that was my story. I am going to try to be more consistent on my YouTube videos. I ordered some clothes, so we'll be doing a try on haul again, my favorite type of videos. So yeah, I'll be doing try on haul again. But until next time, oh, and then toast, guys.